The Netflix Wolverine series is, it's forgettable, but if you're into anime, I guess you'll like it. But the story is just so slow. The pacing is at a snail's pace. And given just the source material, and even if you don't want to go with the source material and you want to develop your own story, Wolverine is probably one of the most fleshed out and thought out characters that you could take it in any shape or any form or any path you want. So after I watched this, I was kind of disappointed. After I also saw X-Men, which you could also catch on Netflix, that was much better. The pacing was better, maybe because there was more characters, so they didn't have to just focus on one. But if you watch this, you would think, oh my god, Wolverine is so boring. And he's not, right? I mean, you've seen him. He probably is the most popular X-Men besides what? Dr. Xavier. I know some people like Cyclops, some people like Gambit, some people like Rogue. I'm not saying some people like Storm. So everyone has their own, but I don't think anyone could deny that the most popular one is Wolverine. As you saw, as you've seen in the live action X-Men, Wolverine's the standout star in all those films and basically carried the X-Men franchise for over 10 years. So it was really disappointing to see them take this path, but there was some good spots. It was good animation, which was very enjoyable. Anytime there's good animation, I'm gonna watch it. Just because I'm a super nerd when it comes to these types of movies and anime or animation. I really, really do enjoy seeing that. It was really great acted. Like the voice acting for this series was top notch. They sounded like the characters. Like and even with Wolverine, I know I'm giving it and not really on the Wolverine character, just the overall pacing of the whole show was the bothersome part. Because Wolverine, they do get his essence kind of correct. And you're like, okay, you could appreciate that it was just a story. And maybe because it was so long, and like I said earlier, they were trying to tell a certain tale, but it was just so, like I said, just so bad on the pacing. But as far as the voice acting, everyone that I saw on screen or every animation matched the voice, and that is a huge battle for any kind of animation, because if you miss on the voice acting and go back on several of my anime or DC animation reviews, I'm very critical on the voice acting, because you got to get that right or else people are going to tune out. But in this movie, great, good job. And maybe I know I get a lot of comments on this where they tell me that the reason that pacing is so slow is due to character development. And maybe, but they did a great job in character development. So, but it doesn't match with the pacing. So I get they're fleshing out characters, but when they're fleshing out characters, those parts are good. It's just after you flesh out a character, there's this lull, a long lull of him going and moving. And I mean, towards the last 2 episodes, they get it a lot better. But there's a huge chunk in the middle where I couldn't even remember. For the life of me, I couldn't recall episode 4 and tell you what exactly happened in that episode, because it's just that boring, and sometimes you kind of mentally check out. And so I get that you have to develop the characters so you can start bonding with the characters, but this movie just suffers from a runtime that's way too long. These episodes probably could have been closer to I don't know, 20 minutes, and the pacing would have probably been a whole lot better, because you don't really need to flesh out that much of a character. But I felt it was good in this episode, but just the overall story that they were telling was pretty freaking boring. And finally, I thought this show's called Wolverine, but this this series should have just been called Logan, like the movie. He's never in his X-Men costume. He's basically in civilian clothes all the time, and that's when Wolverine is Wolverine, right? When he's wearing the freaking yellow and black jumpsuit, that's when he's Wolverine, and when he's not, he's Logan. And just like Clark Kent, and when he's with his glasses, that's Clark Kent, or and when he takes them off, he becomes Superman. We have Bruce Wayne in civilian clothes, and we have Batman when he's all, in his outfit. So it was, I know the Marvel is a little bit different than DC, so don't at me at that. It was just this. I thought this would have been better as far as the advertisement. It should have been called Logan, and it probably would have made the difference, because I went into thinking, or my expectations were set when you read a headline like Wolverine, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get some good Japanese animation along with the traditional X-Men story, but it wasn't. But even though that criticism, I give this movie a C rating. It's enjoyable, but it does get boring, so just be prepared for that when you're watching this. I mean, maybe give yourself breaks. I watched it the whole way through to be able to put out this review, so maybe it's better in spurts, but yeah, so that's the rating for me, a C. You'll enjoy it if you like anime, and if you don't like anime, you probably won't like it. If you like fast pacing movie or animation, that the pacing is at a moderate to fast pace, you will not like it. But if you're a fan of X-Men, you'll enjoy it. I mean, it's not a bad tale, it's just a very long tale. But anyways, those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. What did you think about this series? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What are some criticisms or some critiques that you have, or some stuff that you love? Let me know those thoughts down in the comments. And like always, that's a wrap.